We are live.
Well, how's everyone doing?
Doing
Lovely. Wait a minute. On that note, here we go. Yellow Blaze beer this evening. What do you guys have?
I'm having some Willet bourbon.
Yeehaw,
Jesse's
bourbon,
back.
and Lori.
Water.
Lori. Cheers
Nice.
to everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, all right. So how are we tonight?
We are wonderful.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah.
We are much better than last night.
I almost logged on last night thinking it was Wednesday.
I think someone
You
did.
did? Okay.
I thought I saw someone post that they did try to come on last night. We're waiting
Yeah,
for us.
they did. They did.
I think it just means people are really excited to have us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
so
good.
I see we have some people joining us. So I want to say hello to Connie, Denise, Gwen, Rhonda, and Stella. Thank you guys for joining
Nice.
us.
Very
Welcome.
nice for joining us.
So I think one of the things we should make sure we talk about at the top of the hour is just make sure people know that they can ask questions at any time. I think there's a couple things at the bottom of your screen to do a Q&A. So pop in that question when you want to. I think you can raise your hand out there too as an attendee. So we want to make sure that you guys are chatting with us, and we look forward to a conversation tonight.
Oh, I just
right.
figured this out. I figured out that we can go on our screens, and now I can see Connie, Denise,
Yep.
Gwen, Rhonda, and Stella. So
It's just not me.
welcome to
Yeah.
the chat.
Yes.
So I guess we should say who we
Technology.
are again, just in case, right?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Lori. Nice to meet you.
Lori,
I,
come on now. You're a little more than that.
All right. So I'm from the Hike Podcast. So I have a podcast out there. It's weekly. It's all about hiking. You'll find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So look forward to chatting with all of you. And if you're not following me, I look forward to meeting you all. So that's me.
Cool. I guess I'll go next. I am Julie Gayheart, also known as Jester. I also have a podcast. So you've got a couple podcasters on here. My podcast is Jester Section Hiker. It actually puts the spotlight on section hikers. And I'm a section hiker myself. I took 12 years to complete the Appalachian Trail, 12 different summers, and have almost completed it twice. I'm about 600 miles shy of having it done twice. Also hike all different types of trails, but as you guys get to learn me, no matter what trail I'm on, I always feel like I'm cheating on the Appalachian Trail. So I am a lover of all things Appalachian Trail, but love everything else as well. And I'm going to point down to Johnny. I don't know where Johnny is on everybody else's screen. So Johnny, it's your turn.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'm Johnny, also known as Johnny on the Trail. I'm a 900 miler in the Smokies, also a southbound 6,000 finisher. Been hiking all my life since I was old enough to walk. Parents took us hiking, so spent many years and many nights and days in the Smokies.
And
I
okay,
guess
wait,
that's
now
my
I got to
turn.
go crossways over here to Benny. So there you go.
Well, my name is Benny Braden, also known as Plug It In. All my social media, blog, everything else is under Plug It In Hikes. I'm known for doing a hike or two in the Smokies. Guess you could say that. And I'm a through hiker, creator, videographer, photographer, bearded person.
Do we need a
Oh,
separate,
goodness.
do we need a separate channel just for the beard on here tonight?
I'm still working on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
wait a minute. I do want to bring something up because I heard you on I don't know if it was a podcast or Instagram Live, that you actually have an award for that thing. Is that true?
Yeah, no joke. Back in 2016, I entered the beard contest. And I won the
Oh my
I won the
Wait a
popular
minute.
vote.
Wait, no, wrong drink. Whenever we hear the word beard, we're going to drink, okay?
Yes. There we go. I can drink
So
that. Okay.
oh
I
wait,
won
you know, I'll throw the word turkey in there too. So beard and
Yes.
turkey, take a drink.
Yes. Okay. I won a beard contest in 2016. I won the popular vote. And it was put on by King Handlebar. They make a lot of beard oils and beard balms, really good products. I won like $500 in just oils and balms, and then another $2,000 basically worth of a fancy watch, like a bomber jacket, leathers. It was crazy what all I won in that whole deal. It was like $2,400 altogether of prizes. And I basically just went on my social media and said, hey guys, why don't you go in here and vote for me? And everybody is going on there every day and voting. And
So Benny has an insurance policy on his beard.
Hey,
It
you
is
know what?
insurance.
You know what? When we go hiking together, dun dun dun, dun.
You will not see me like blowing into the fire, getting the fire started, because fire and my beautiful beard just do not match.
Oh,
It's flammable, right?
It is very flammable. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm bringing the scissors. I'm bringing the scissors.
I'll have it like in a little ponytail so I can cover it up in my shirt.
All right. So what's the topic tonight? What are we talking about? We're talking about being on the trail.
Beards and turkeys.
Up,
Wait,
beards and
wait.
turkeys. There you go. So this is going to get
fun.
real ugly. So the other night, well, first of all, this is just a general thing for everybody. When you send a message to somebody, don't send it to the wrong person. Okay. I'm just going to let y'all know. I sent these guys a message yesterday and it wasn't supposed to go to them. It was about hiking. But it was absolutely hilarious. And through all this COVID-19 stuff, I had a crazy day yesterday and it was just off the chain mad at everything. So I don't know. I'll just start it off with, be sure you don't hit that send button before you know who you're sending your messages to, no matter if it's hiking or what, because that can get you in trouble.
Thankfully, you sent it to friends, so it's all good.
That was so good. I laughed for hours on that. That made my day completely.
And actually, after I sent it, I couldn't even resend it to the original person that I was going to send it to because I was laughing so hard. And knowing that you guys got it made me feel better. So thank you for that. That was crazy.
Kendall says done that. So yeah.
Oh, Ben, yeah. So there were a few choice words, and I don't care about this, and I don't care about that kind of thing. But
Good times.
Yes.
So I think we're supposed to be talking about the other night we had a little chat amongst the four of us, and we just kind of started talking about our first time that we actually went out on the trail, like by ourselves, and wanted to share those stories with you, kind of like we were at our campsite tonight and we're base camping. And you know how you do when you you hike with people, you meet with them, and then you're like, ooh, what do they have? What do they have? As far as gear and what they're eating and stuff like that. And we all just decided, hey, we should tell our first time we went solo backpacking. And something I thought about today is not only the solo backpacking, but my very first trip that I knew I was going to go solo. It's the things that led up to that. I was supposed to go on a hiking trip with a buddy. And of course, at the last minute, he couldn't go. There was a work thing. And I went through this entire, I don't know if you want to call it anxiety. I don't know what it was. I packed my pack, I'm not kidding, 25 times. And my first solo hike was going to be going through the Smokies. And the reason that I picked the Smokies is because I knew there were shelters. I knew I was probably going to be around people. And I get real nervous anyway when I start like building up to go on a hiking trip. and I know I'm going to see white blazes of the Appalachian Trail. It's like going out on that date with that first person that you really, you really like them, and you're all nervous and you have butterflies. And it just affected everything the days before. And in the Smokies, you kind of have to make a decision. Do I take a tent? Do I not take a tent? Do I take a tent? Do I not take a tent? Because you're supposed to stay at the shelters. I probably took that tent in and out of my pack. I mean, I'm going to say 50 times, and that's probably not an exaggeration. And, then it went to, am I going to take multiple headlamps? I don't want, my headlamp to die on me because I'm going to be turning that thing on 95 times that night, or I might leave it on that night. So for me, it was a lot of anxiety that I had built up. I went into a full-blown panic that morning, tried to eat breakfast, started crying. Everyone at the Fontana Dam restaurant there thought I was absolutely insane. And the night before, drove to where the trailhead was 10 times, back and forth, getting the lay of the land, all that kind of stuff. But once I got through that, you know what? Everything was okay. Well, there were several things that happened on that trip, but as far as that initial getting started with solo hiking, I think everybody goes through something of that nature. And even right now, thinking about, maybe hiking in the future, I do get some sort of angst.
I always get butterflies. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of that feeling like ahead of a trip or ahead of anything by myself. I don't know. I think it's just part of getting on the trail, especially a new place, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I always have this thing, and you guys have to dispel the myth, the gentleman in the Zoom room. I always feel like, as a female, and Lori, you could chime in too if you feel this way, that guys don't have these things. Guys don't have these problems. Guys go out by themselves, and they never have any anxiety. They never worry about being alone. They never worry about bears coming to eat them at night, like on and on, all the things that I think about. So as you guys tell your stories, I'd love to hear, are you scared on that trip going out solo? Does it take a while to build up to, being alone and getting used to being on the trail?
Well, I'll go ahead and start with some of my answers on that. When I got back into backpacking back in 2015, I had a Kelty backpack. This thing was as big as a body bag. And I made sure it was like an 80-liter pack. So I made sure I fit 80 liters worth of stuff in it. And, my tent was, I think, a Coleman tent. I remember just taking so many things I did not ever use. I didn't even pull out of the pack. That was my first time backpacking by myself too, because, as a teenager and stuff like that, even in high school, whenever I would go backpacking, I would go with friends, or my brother or whoever. So I didn't really have that this time. So my first trip was in Frozen Head, not too far from where I live. And I remember just kind of being a little bit freaked out about it. That's my first time, going out basically camping, by myself. I'd gone turkey hunting and things like that. We have to do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the key words of the night are turkey and beard. So there you go.
So every time you hear me say that, you have to take a drink.
There.
Anyways, for our viewers, of course. Anyways, it was I still had anxiety with it. And I remember going and the next morning I was fine, but I didn't sleep a wink that night. You're worried, you're listening to every sound that you hear, and you're totally just worked up over it. And you're like, what is that? Could that be a bear? Could that be Sasquatch? What could it be? You're just doing a bunch of nonsense in your head and allowing yourself to just play these dances. And oh no, I guess it's just first time jitters, probably what most of that is. And here I was basically a grown man, and I was having issues of I felt like I was being a little girl, in the woods. So it was all good. I learned a lot on that trip.
Somebody just wrote turkey beard. Okay. So Gwen, Here we
Gwen.
go. Thanks, Gwen. And then somebody else, let's see. Oh, Lori wrote, yep, her first time was our Lori.
Yeah,
I'm going to point over here.
Because Kendall said, I've not gone backpacking solo yet. And I said, well, my first time was last year. So, I think of that, like, as we're talking, like, it's okay to, no matter what your experience is, no matter where you're at in life, like, start now. That was me. Because I'm, later on to the whole hiking community. So, all right, keep on going.
And one thing too is, I went back and forth. Am I going to let somebody else not being able to go dictate what I really want to do? And that really came down to my decision. Okay, if Smokey the Bear gets me when I'm up in here, then that's just the way it's going to have to be. And you kind of have to tell yourself that and, determine and take a risk that you probably normally wouldn't take, because I didn't want to let someone not being able to go stop my objective from really what I was wanting to do. So, Benny, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. We had to take a drink and then I got twisted up.
And then Jay he's raising his hand, so I'm going to let him say something. Hey, Jay.
Jay.
Did
Jay is on mute.
Oh, let's unmute you. He might keep himself muted.
He might keep it. Okay. Okay, Jay, you type us a message. What are we supposed to do? I'm hammered. Thanks, Gwen. Okay. That was from Evergreen Adventure. Toast and jams are already hammered. I know Jelly Belly's not hammered. That's yeah. To toast and jams. There you go. Johnny, come on. All right.
I got backup.
You got
Okay.
All right.
Funny story, side story. You knew this was going to happen. Okay. When I did my JMT through hike, Yeehaw had hooked me up with quite a few beers. So I put them in my resupply to, send out west. And what I ended up doing is that it wasn't every pass, but most passes, when I would go up over a pass on the John Muir Trail, I would drink a beer. And on my way up, I would grab a handful of snow because there's still snow on the ground. You're at 14,000 feet. Put it in a Ziploc bag and put a beer in it. And within a mile, this baby's chilled. And when I get to the pass, I would chug it, just pop it, and chug it and video it. And I would belch and just be so obnoxious with it. And I actually had that video up on my YouTube for a long time. I actually called it Beer Pass. And I may go ahead and make that public again. It was actually pretty funny.
Okay. Okay, you guys out there, do you want to see that video? Should he make it public?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so, right?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because
we're getting the thumbs up.
It is kind of rough because I'll chug it, when I belch, I bring the camera in
oh Lord Jesus.
It's a good one. You're in the mindset.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody just said never mind. Oh. All right, so Johnny, you got to tell us your first. Okay, raise your hand if you want to see what Johnny's pack looked like on his first trip. He was a traveling salesman with stuff dangling off the back of it. Literally, I have a picture of Johnny, and he's got his. I don't know if it was your tent or what, and you're walking, and the thing is like swinging off the back of it. So, Johnny, what are your fears about solo backpacking?
The first time I went solo backpacking, I went to campsite 30. So I passed 2 campsites on the way to 30. And as I passed campsite 21, it was closed due to bear activity. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of weird. I don't remember any notifications from the park. Past campsite 24, it's also closed due to bear activity. I'm thinking, holy cow, if I go all the way up to 30 and it's closed, I'm going to have to hike back out. Well, I get to 30 and the campsite was open. I didn't build a fire that night. I hung my hammock. I took my dinner and I took some Benadryl, went to bed. Had nightmares the entire night. Craziest thing. But on the pack thing though, I section hiked the Smokies in a week, in about 4 or 5 days. And my pack was so heavy. I had everything you could think of in my pack. I didn't know. It was like really my first long multi-day overnight trip by myself. And I had everything you could think of in my pack. I had more stuff than I truly ever needed with me in that pack. What was dangling? Gosh, I don't even know. It's hard to tell what it was.
But don't you think that we pack our insecurities, right? Like we pack all.
I
That's
think
what
we
they say.
do.
Like
Oh,
we,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no question. You pack your fears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, you're packing your fears. If you're afraid of being
Mhm.
cold, you're going to have extra clothes. If you're afraid you're going to starve, you're going to have extra food. If you're afraid of bugs, you're going to have 4 cans of bug spray. You know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of a
I'm
funny
afraid
story.
of running out of toilet paper, so I care. I'm not kidding. The
Well-
Charmin triple ply, double stuff fluff, like, yeah, I have toilet paper.
I
Maybe a
ran
little low
into
now, but I have it on the trail. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I ran into a guy who was section hiking the AT. We started from Springer. He was like a day or two ahead of me, and I ended up catching him pretty quick. His pack weighed 80 pounds.
What?
Wow.
It did not
I can't
have
lift
a
80
waist
pounds.
strap. It didn't
Oh.
have a waist strap. It was all on his shoulders. He had a cast iron
Wow.
skillet, a cot, like an army wooden cot, like a 4-person tent. It was like crazy everything. A fifth of Jack Daniels. I mean, he needed that for his shoulders. But yeah, I mean, I would have thought he was lying to me. But I mean, we stopped somewhere. I forget what we were doing. I think he might have been stopping for the day, and he just started pulling everything out of his pack. And I'm just shaking my head like, you got to be kidding me. You know, what else do you have in there? You got like a Yugo or, you know, some kind of golf cart or something?
So,
It was huge.
so Stella asked me
Stella,
a
there's a
question.
question for Lori.
Yeah. So I have not gone solo backpacking, but I have gone solo camping. And my first solo experience was in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park. And
Ooh,
for
nice.
me,
Mm.
like, here's the deal. It was like, can I put up a tent by myself? Am I going to be able to like figure out like how to start a fire? I couldn't. I didn't start a fire, but it was okay. But honestly, some of the things that I did leading up to it were I did put the tent up in my backyard, so that was kind of nice to figure that out. I tried to get my what do you call it, like the fuel with your stove to work. Well, I spilled the fuel, so when I turned it on, it just like went up in flames. Yeah. So I mean, I had some mishaps there, but I think honestly, like just having that experience, and I stayed at a couple different campgrounds, and just it made me feel so much more confident in just myself after doing it. And yeah, after that, I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I went on another trip last summer, went to the Adirondacks. So that's my story.
Yeah, you know, and I agree with you. Going in your backyard and just setting up and just doing practice runs in your backyard, setting your camp up the way you need it. Maybe try to do it when it's raining sometime, you know, because chances are when you get to camp, conditions are
Mhm.
not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to learn how to do it as quick as possible as far as getting your tent up, throwing all your stuff inside the tent, and then deal with, you know, everything else. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Maybe test a piece of gear, see if it can really withstand that much cold temperatures, you know, that little, you know, lower degrees. I would rather
Yeah.
find out in my backyard than find out, you know,
Yeah.
40
I
miles
was
from
going
the
to ask
nearest
you
trailhead.
guys about that one, because you always see like all this gear and it has these ratings, and then you read the reviews and there's like 10 different answers to it, right? Like
Yeah.
people are like, no, it does work. No, I sleep hot. No, I sleep cold. So it's like,
It's
yeah.
personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yes. Personal preference. So I would much rather find out, you know, 10, 20 feet from the back of my house than, you know, way out in the middle of nowhere. Especially if you're dealing with really bad weather. I mean, you're thinking, you know, thunder, lightning, rain, crazy rain like we've had today. You know, could you imagine setting a tent up on your first trip in the rain that we had today? I mean, stuff that was just coming down sideways and everything else. That would not, I would have like turned around and gone back home. Everything, if that was my first trip, I'll guarantee you, my first trip, everything would have been wet because I had everything
Yep.
laid out within like a 20 foot area of where I was camping at. You know, even though I had done a lot of backpacking whenever I was younger, I don't know, something had just disconnected or come unplugged or whatever. And
So
I couldn't figure it out, you know, whenever I went out on my first time, you know, as, you know, basically as an adult. It's like, good grief, how did I forget all this?
I love Kendall's message to us about she loves, or it's Kendall, I don't know, it's a he or she. But I love my $50 Walmart. Okay, good. It's like, I love my $50 Walmart ultralight one person tent, not tested in it all that yet. But no, I mean, I think that's a good point. I want to talk about like price points and gear, and you know, you don't always have to get the most expensive item.
No, I started out with all Walmart gear, you know, stuff I could buy at my local Walmart. That's what I started out with, because it's smarter to buy something like that. And you go on a few trips, you may decide it's like, you know, this is stupid. I don't want to be doing this. I'd rather be sitting on the couch or ride a bicycle or something else. It may not be for you. So instead of spending like $600 for a tent, $400 on the backpack, you know, before you go into jumping into all those, you know, crazy expenses, just buy stuff from Walmart or buy used gear just to kind of, till you get on your feet and figure this out, you know?
And borrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a bunch of gear that somebody told me, you need this, you need this, you need this. So I was listening to all these people tell me all these things that I needed. And I was carrying stuff. I didn't know why I needed it. I just thought I needed it because somebody told me, oh, you have got to have this. Oh, you've got to have this. Oh, you can't go anywhere without this. So I had all these things. And I mean, I really didn't even know what I had on the first, you know, few section hikes that I did. It was just because, I mean, I carried a bear canister on the East Coast, one of those huge, big black ones. I don't even know if they make them now. That thing was 3 pounds. Well, somebody that hikes on the West Coast told me that I needed that. So I went and got me one. And I mean, people made fun of me on the trail and stuff. They're like, what are you doing, lady? Like, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm out here, I'm learning. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, but it's just taking that initial step. And I think, Johnny, you were going to say something. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're fine. You know, for me, I just buy a little bit at a time. I just build up until I get everything that I need. So start small and work your way up. You can always update your gear. You know, try to update every year. And here's a photo. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's a photo of my pack that you're talking about.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, what in the world is that dangling back there? What is that?
I think that's my mat. I think that's a sleeping mat. I don't use it anymore, but I have a different mat now, a lot smaller. See, that's what I'm talking about, though. You start out with gear that you can afford, and then you upgrade as you go. And that's what I did. I started out with the cheapest stuff that I could afford. And as I got money and experience, I learned what I need and what I don't need. I didn't need that heavy 4-pound sleeping mat or whatever it was.
Yeah, you know, and some of the gear I bought from Walmart, I just gave to friends later. You know, when I decided, I definitely want to get back into backpacking, and I started like trimming down my weights, you know, buying more expensive gear. That gear I started out with, I started just giving to people who were like interested in getting started. And I told them, if you decide you don't want to do it, give this to someone who you think that will want to use it, you know, who's just getting started. Because the way I look at your first backpack and your first tent and your first sleeping bag and all your first backpacking gear, it's kind of like your first car. You're going to destroy it because you don't know how to take care of it. It's the sacrificial lamb. It's the sacrificial lamb, and you're just going, Dixie. My dog's trying to sneak away. Nope.
Oh. We got a question from Rhonda about for us too. She wants to know if anyone hammocks. I tent, but want to hammock too. Yeah, Johnny, that's a good one for
I
you
can't.
too.
Yeah, I do hammock, and like Benny said, when I first bought my hammock, I set up in the backyard. I slept in it. It was new to me. I was kind of scared of how I tied the little string around the trees. I was kind of cold. My second time trying it, also in the yard. I tried some things differently, made some adjustments, slept comfortably, slept warm. It was cool. I slept in the rain in that hammock. It's been dry, completely dry. Just trying it in the yard and then being confident with it, being able to confident in your knots, tying it up, confident that your underside's going to be warm. Yeah, I mean it's I sleep great in the hammock. I've slept in tents all my life until about a year and a half ago, and I just like sleeping in a hammock. It's it's to me that's just
Benny.
the most comfortable thing. What's he doing? I didn't see him. Okay, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benny has typed turkeys and beards, and those are the key words for the evening. Turkey and beards, you must take a drink.
Thanks, Benny. Appreciate that bell out.
Here's another thing too
Anytime.
I'll say about gear is I've gone from one extreme to the other. Went from people telling me what to carry. Oh, you need this, you need this. And I mean, literally to the extreme other, to the ultralight, like I'm going to buy the most ultralight stuff, the ultralight this and this and this. And that all didn't work for me either, because some of the ultralight stuff out there, and it varies by brand and what you like and all that stuff, it doesn't last more than a season. It is very light, thin material. And I'm not dogging any of it, because there are some awesome companies out there that make some awesome gear, but you also have to be careful going from one extreme to the other extreme. And now I've learned, as I'm getting older in hiking, I will carry some things that make me more comfortable, because I want to be able to sleep at night, because sleep is
Mm-hmm.
very important, so I can have energy and hike the next day. Like I never used to hike with a pillow. And I used to sleep with my stinky clothes underneath, my face. But now I hike with a very comfortable pillow. In fact, I bought a down pillow this morning, so I'm going to be trying that out. And I learned that no matter the temperature, no matter where I'm at, I get cold at night. It could be 85 degrees out, and somehow just after hiking all day, I get chilled and I sleep cold. So I have to compensate for that. Somebody else might be able to carry a 40-degree bag. I still have to carry, I might carry a 10-degree bag in the summer, because that's how I'm more comfortable. So, and that's just from learning and testing the waters and having several nights out there where I'm freezing to death and borrowing things from other people that I've gone hiking with so I can stay warm. So that there's another aspect to it too, going from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, and I heard someone, they were at Trail Days, and Joe from Z-Packs was there, and they overheard Joe tell a potential customer, our packs aren't for everybody. He was speaking for himself, saying Z-Packs backpacks aren't for everybody. And they were like,
Mm-hmm.
how can you do that? How can you say that your gear isn't for everybody? That's just crazy. And the reality is, no, their backpacks aren't for everybody. You have to know how to treat your backpack. If you get to a break and your first reaction is to just drop the shoulder straps and let it land on the ground, just crushing on the ground, or sling it on the ground because you're mad because this hill is taller than what the map says it is, you're going to destroy it. You're just going to like obliterate it, or you just don't pack your stuff right. I can tell you, when I was on the John Muir Trail, I was taking my tent out several times a day because it's rain shower and storms would come through. So every time a storm would come through, I'd throw my tent up real quick, jump in it, take a nap, let the storm pass, get back up, pack up, head down the trail for a few more miles. And I would do that 2 or 3 times a day. And by the end of the hike, I had like a little nick in my netting of my mesh on my tent. And it come from me just being careless, wadding it up, throwing it in the pack, thinking, here I'm Mr. Thru Hiker. I know everything to do. I've got all this ultralight gear. You know, I know what I'm doing, and here I've put a nick in my tent. And so you have to be careful with it.
So
You have to be easy.
that's really smart, because we do have to take care of our gear so that we can make it last.
You only have
we have a
nice
lot of
things that
comments
you
over
people
here.
know.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I think I see Gwen has a question. Let's see. So I'm going to go back and make sure I read the right comment. But okay, so Gwen, you're new to hiking, much later in life than any of y'all. Currently have not hiked alone. My husband always carries the pack. I decided that I'd like to hike on my own sometimes. So I need a pack, waist/chest strap, yes or no? I won't be hiking more than 5 to 8 miles. I'm a really slow hiker, have had multiple knee and ankle surgeries. Good foot placement slows me down. I've only got on 10 down, pieced together from 2 tendons. So you're not worried about being out there alone, but we'll carry a gear in mini. So, okay. I think like a Garmin mini, so my husband can keep track of me. I have one of those too. And the goal is to hike longer trails by camping overnight. So yeah, so let's help Gwen out.
I would
like
say
the waist.
yeah, I mean, for me, I would just say you're going to have to just test some things out. Maybe in your backyard, maybe go to a local park, pack your pack up, walk around a little bit, where you're not like so far in that, you can't get out or anything of that nature. And just test the whole idea of using a waist strap or not using a waist strap, and just see what works for, because that's just kind of a personal preference deal.
Yeah, I'll sometimes put it on and sometimes I'll leave it loose. So it just depends on how much I have in my pack, how long I'm going, things like that. I would, since you're not used to carrying your pack, I would work up to it. Like Benny was saying, in your local park, like start adding some things in. Like don't just go like with a bunch of stuff in, but add it little by little so you start feeling comfortable with that.
And here's one thing.
having
Go ahead, Johnny.
That's all right. Sometimes not having that chest strap can kind of make your pieces in here go, and it makes your fingers tingle, makes your hands numb. I do like to strap mine. It's not usually too tight, but I want to keep my straps in a certain location on my shoulders and not like down here. I just want them, more up here, and that's just my preference. But as Benny said, I love to just try different things and see what works for me. And it also does depend on your pack load. If your pack's super heavy, I like it super tight. I don't want
I find like if I'm gonna be like crossing something, bending over something where I need that stability, so it's not just swinging down or above my head where you need it. That's where I found it helps to be strapped in the waist and the chest.
And just so Gwen knows, like every time, I'm going to go ahead and say probably the 4 of us prepare for a backpacking trip or something that we're going to do. It's almost like I feel like I'm starting over every time. So, I start, in my local park, amping up the mileage with maybe like a handheld water bottle. And then I'll move up to like a day pack and, start putting items in the day pack. And my day pack pretty much mimics my regular backpack. It has the waist strap. It has the chest strap. I like the waist strap and the chest strap because it makes me feel like the pack is secure on me, and it makes it eventually, when you get used to it, you don't even realize you have your pack on anymore. And then I'll build up to, putting everything in the main backpack little by little. Like I'll have the sleeping bag and maybe like my food. And then maybe the next weekend I'll add another item, and the next weekend add another item. So I just want Gwen to know, and anybody else, that it's like I'm doing this over and over and over again. We're not new backpackers, but we are new to going out each time that we go out.
Yeah. And for myself, where I've gone out so much, I know roughly what I'm going to carry. From one hike to the next hike, it's pretty much the same gear. I may tweak it a little bit due to temperatures. So if my buddy Matt hollers at me and said, "Hey, let's go to Corsica or let's go to Patagonia or wherever," I want to know how many days and how cold is it going to be. Outside that, I know everything else is just a given. I carry just the same gear. So, and as far as my personal preference for me, I carry a very lightweight backpack, probably 38 to 35 liters, somewhere in that neighborhood. I typically never do the chest strap. I like for my shoulder straps to kind of spread out a little bit. That helps my chest open up and helps me take in a good breath of air as I'm hiking. So it doesn't like constrict me or anything like that. And I don't use a hip belt. But to be fair, my pack weight is total pack weight, including food, is typically no more than 20 pounds at max. I mean, that's if I'm going for like 7 days or something.
And I've never gotten under 20 pounds. So I'm good if I'm serious. I mean, I just don't, no matter what. And I'm comfortable with that. So my max goal is, okay, I don't want to carry more than like 24, 25 pounds. And I know some people are like, oh God, what is she carrying? Well, that's just what I'm used to. And that's what I carry. And I don't know if I'll ever get down to a Benny style pack. And that's okay too, because everybody has their own. Yeah. So
exactly.
do you see the question from Melissa Rice? Now, I don't know how to answer this because I'm not real familiar with the Smokies. She says, currently planning my first backpacking trip. We were planning on doing West Prong. Can each of you tell me which campsite you would suggest as my first trip? Now, I'm not familiar with that, so I have to defer to the Smokies people.
Yeah. So
The only campsite on West Prong is campsite 18.
Yep. Which is a nice one.
It's a huge campsite. You can fit a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you got a creek flowing right through it, so you got a good water source. Yeah, I mean, the trail basically goes right through campsite.
That was a campsite I took my son for the very first time. His very first backpack trip was campsite 18.
So that's a good thought.
Stella says, are you carrying turkeys?
It's a good thing though. That would be
my backpack is full of turkey. and beard, bomb, and oil too. That's all I carry.
All right, guys, it's a refill time.
Whoa. So West Prong, I don't know if we answered the question. We said it was a beautiful site and all that stuff. So
yes, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a
pretty easy to get to. Great open campsite, great water source. Just don't be peeing and pooping near the water.
Oh,
okay.
That's a given.
And leave no trace.
Exactly.
And then Connie also has a question for Johnny and Benny because she wants to know what the word is on the Smokies opening. I think everyone wants to know that, right?
Yeah, we want to know too. We want to know too, Connie.
We want to go down and hike it.
I'll leave that one to Johnny.
Wow, thanks, Benny. That's wow.
Should I put the bus in reverse again and just kind of get it?
I think we should just drink on what Johnny's going to say.
I sent Benny a turkey picture this morning.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
The Smokies, it's you know what, it really all depends on the I don't want to pin off on anybody, but it kind of depends on the Cherokee government to what they decide as far as what's going to happen with 441. I think Tennessee's ready to open. I know they're getting pressure from the towns of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Bryson City, all those surrounding towns. I guess the park, they're going to make their own decision. I mean, they're their own thing. They're their own entity. So Tennessee's kind of made their mind up. What's that say? Yep, there you go.
Hey, listen, Skunk Ape has a really good question, actually, for all of us. Skunk Ape says, how many miles do each of y'all have under your belts? And what's the longest duration you have been out on one trip? So, Lori, there you go.
Okay, so I'm from the new side. I'm going to be the newbie. I honestly don't know how many miles. Probably just all over the last 5 years. It's just a few, several hundred. Just hiking all over. But I'm going to be on the, couple day side for my trip. And so I'm on the newbie scale for that end. And then we'll go all the way, I think, to the thousands upon thousands.
So I'm going to start adding this in because I actually think this counts.
Yeah.
So in my local nature preserve, since 2000, and I added this up, and I'm going really low with this. So since 2002, I have hiked over 30,000 miles just in my local nature preserve. So that's a 30,000 miler in Latta Plantation Nature Preserve. And I would say on the Appalachian Trail, I'm probably going low. I have one full completion. So what's that? 2,100 miles, but that doesn't
but you
count.
hiked more than that.
So on the Appalachian Trail by itself, I've probably got 5,000 miles. I don't know, maybe another, I don't know. I would say long distance trails total, I don't know, 7 to 10,000 miles. I'm not sure.
We're
So
gonna give
I'm
you
going
a
with,
patch for your
I'm a
local nature preserve.
40,000 miler. There you go. A United States of America 40,000 miler, because I have not hiked international.
Not even
I'm
Canada?
not kidding.
You've never
No,
even done Canada?
No. So, and I know people are not going to believe me,
I'm
but I'm
taking
going
you
to change
Canada.
my Instagram to a 40,000 miler. There you go.
Okay.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, the only two international places I've hiked is Mexico and California. I say that jokingly.
That's because he's only been in Tennessee.
No, I've been outside. I've been in North Carolina too.
Okay.
No, I mean I don't know what my mileage is. I mean, oh my gosh, I was hiking the Smokies with my parents as a kid. I mean, I've done a 900 miler and a half. I don't know. It's in the thousands. I don't know what it would be. Don't know.
Start hiking, Johnny. Start hiking.
I hike every weekend, almost.
I would say if you added up all your local hikes and everything, you'd be close to 40. I mean, yeah, I would say.
I'd say it's thousands.
Yeah. Benny's going to knock us out here any minute now.
I know.
No, I mean, I'm actually not that. I almost spilled my coffee too. I don't know. I would say I'm probably, if I was to count from 2016 on, because I have no idea what I hiked before that, I would say around 8,000, which isn't a whole lot if you think about it. But yeah, and that includes my trips outside the country, Scotland. That also includes urban hiking too, because, whenever we're doing these international trips and we try to plan a day or 2 days in a big city somewhere close by. Just like whenever we went to Turkey, we planned a day in Copenhagen and in Paris, and also a couple hours in London, in which we did 5 miles. And that was just because we had a long layover, so we left the airport and done a quick loop between the London Bridge and Tower Bridge. But typically when we're doing those hikes and we're going into these towns, I mean, we do about 20 miles, in a single day, inside of the city. And that's, to me, I think that's pretty good, because you got to stop, wait for traffic. You got to do all that junk. So if I was guessing, I would say somewhere around the 8,000 range.
So Julie gets the golden trekking pole.
Well, listen, I added my local preserve. So if you take out the local preserve, I would say I get the turkey award. Yes, here we go.
That's a good one.
The queen.
I would say on long distance trails, probably close to 10,000 miles. Close.
Wow.
Including the Smokies, and a lot of it's on the Appalachian Trail, just going over and over and over. And I think Skunk Ape asked us, what's the longest duration you have been out on a trip? And I guess that means how long, I don't know if that counts as a section hike, a through hike, or whatever. For me, 60 days.
Mine was 2 months. Whenever I went out to do the John Muir Trail, I left the John Muir Trail, spent a day or two in Vegas, and made my way to the Uintas where we filmed the Highline. So I never came home. I just went
Mhm.
from one hike straight to
Mhm.
another hike. So basically, I was taking a couple zeros.
Johnny.
For me, about 7 days. I've been out about 7 days. Seven nights, about six or 7 nights in a row.
I love Evergreen said, Adventure Foods, 24 9,000 miles to circle the Earth. Congrats, Julie. You've completed the Earth circuit almost twice.
Yes.
Nice.
Woo! Pump it up. You know what? We should drink. This is really dangerous. This Yellow Blaze beer from Blue Blaze Brewing in Charlotte, North Carolina. Seriously, it's
Hey,
dangerous.
Julie, aren't you going to work with them, get them to send us all some?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
100%.
so
You have
I'm
my
going to throw
address.
up, I want to throw up that poll before we end tonight, just to see, I'm going to see if I can get the poll out. I wanted to ask you guys some questions out there to see just what you think about what we're doing. So put out a few, see if you guys can vote.
And I have an idea for future episodes. And actually, when I run into people on the trail, I tend to ask this question a lot. What is your biggest fear on trail?
Ooh,
Mm,
that would be a whole good episode, I think.
yes.
All right, good.
What
We're
is
getting
your
some
biggest
people
fear?
voting, more people voting. Good, good.
And then the other night, something else we brought up, and I found this, although everyone should be going out and watching Highline right now, the
Yes.
the latest greatest documentary, which is exceptional. And the only other one that you need to watch, the quality is nowhere near Highline. It's actually called, I found this, it's called Trek. And this was actually put out 2003. And it's about four guys that hiked on the Appalachian Trail during 9/11, and some things that they went through being out on the Appalachian Trail and dealing with somebody in their group had to basically leave the trail, and then the dynamic of that gentleman trying to come back several hundred miles up the trail, and trying to rejoin, a new family of all these other guys had joined. So anyway, so maybe we could talk about that next time, what our favorite documentaries are besides Highline and the Trek, I guess. That's another thing
Yeah.
that
And
motivates us.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's another documentary that came out, a little bit after Highline, which was Through the Great Southwest, the one that Outdoor Evolution, came out with, Darwin's
Mm-hmm.
kind of pet project. And I'm actually in that one as well, quite a few times. You don't notice me because my beard is not facing the camera, so it's kind of hard to recognize me.
Wait. What?
Your beard?
Yeah, that
My
award-winning
beard,
beard was covered up, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
exactly.
So I
But
want to,
I am in the last scene, so you do see it.
so I'm out there sharing the results. It looks like people want
I'm
us
out
to
of beer.
go.
I'm out of beer. I'm trying to cough it.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
all right.
Johnny, was that full when we started? Was that a full bottle?
Yeah,
No,
to the brim.
not
To the
even
brim.
close.
I
I
don't
watched him
know,
drink it.
Johnny.
I watched him drink it. He'll be sloppy drunk here in a minute. He'll be okay.
I love the suggestions, you guys. We're going to make sure we incorporate them.
Okay, can you see what they
Yeah,
are?
those are some good
Yeah.
results. Yeah.
Oh, they are
You guys
good.
should be able to see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They weekly gear, 100%. Hiking stories is the other top
Yeah.
one.
Got
And then
plenty of
Patriot
those.
Trail. Logistics. I think a lot of people can talk about logistics. Yeah.
Hey,
Especially if you're
does
section
anybody want to
hiking.
know scary stories? Because we've contemplated telling some of our very, very sketchy, scary stories
But we didn't want to
of
scare
things.
you off.
Yeah, of things that happened on the trail. So, do you want to hear that or not?
And
But we
I
don't want
have
to scare. Yeah.
and I have scary hitchhiking stories.
Oh. Wait.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that's a
these. This was
totally
great.
different dynamic.
You know what
Yeah.
though? Every single 900 miler has hitchhiked at least once. Should have if they had. Most likely has.
Either
have.
hitchhiked or set up a shuttle. One of the two.
Yep.
And who
Most of my
has had
900
to,
mileage, I was doing
and
solo.
here you go. We'll leave it with who has had to mace someone and drink.
No, but I've brought my bear spray with me just for that.
No, that's a good idea. I'm not kidding. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Jay had a suggestion about the documentaries. There's another good one on Amazon with Justin, is it Lichter and Sean Forey for when they did their winter PCT hike.
Oh,
Cool.
yes. I've heard
Yeah.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's another one on the Grand Canyon where these guys through hike the Grand Canyon, basically the length of it. And they're not on trails, they're on ledges and all that kind of crap, so that one's kind of interesting to watch.
Sounds like
That's
my kind of hike.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't do
Yeah, it's
ledges.
a bit sketchy.
I love ledges.
Me too.
I don't do
too.
ledges.
As a rock climber, you gotta live ledges, right?
I don't do that either. Wait a minute. Somebody says yes to the scary stories. Uh-oh. Dun, dun,
There
dun.
we go. We have one vote. That's all we needed. We just needed
Just-
one
just
vote.
needed
All we
one.
need is
Door.
one. All we need is one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're kind of like a door-to-door salesman. We just need a one yes just to get us inside the door.
Yes. One is always greater than zero.
Could it be a turkey
Yeah.
ghost story?
Oh, boy.
Yep. Did you know that turkeys have beards?
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's
And
good.
Did you
Benny,
know?
wait a minute.
Did-
And Benny has one in his house with 5 beards. 5. How does a turkey have 5
Oh.
beards?
The other thing we
I
can
think
do,
all turkeys are born with beards.
we can have a
Wait a minute.
Genetic
No, Jay Babcock says no scary
yeah.
and 1 vote for no. So we're 1-1.
Ooh.
Okay. So before we have 1 minute left or 2, we need another yes or no.
Oh wait, Evergreen voted.
Come on, Evergreen. Come on.
He said yes, scary.
Yes,
Come on,
scary.
those are
Okay.
my
So
Those are my people. They're going to pull for me.
do any of you have to get up in the morning? No.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. We were.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I am teaching from home. I'm an educator. Educator, drink. Educators.
I'm not an educator, but I have to work tomorrow too.
Yeah, I have to work too.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
I might work tomorrow. I will work, but it sounds good if I just say I might
Wait a
work.
minute. Melissa says she's a special ed teaching assistant. I mean, you
Oh.
get 2 drinks for that. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't drink. Maybe I'm going to drink Sprite next time. I wish. Wait a minute. Jay says he wish. Well, Jay, you know what? We wish you had to work too.
Yeah.
Me
I've already
too.
gone
Great
through
chat
2
and
beers.
looking
Yeah.
forward to next week. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, Connie.
All right. See, we
Right.
don't know what to do now. I guess we say goodbye.
Bye.
And remember, do not send messages to anyone, to people you don't intend to. It's trouble. Don't do it.
All right.
And entertaining for the
Yes.
ones that receive it. It's the best gift that keeps on giving.
Cheers, you guys. See
It really does.
See you
you
guys.
next week.
Happy
Bye.
trails. Well, sometime soon. Happy trails.